deliver talking about public speaking, and I'm sure that's what you do on a daily basis. Let's get to hear from you. What are the things that you have observed that people get to do when we talk about public speaking? Why is it important, you know, in our day-to-day activities? There's a mic there? Okay, there's one. So let me start with you, Seun. Why do you think it's important, you know, in our day-to-day activities as a people?
It's amazing because, okay, now you told us not to be beating the microphone, so I'm trying not to. It's still not working, so what do I do?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to stand on all the existing protocols. It's been my pleasure to be here today. And Bodex, congratulations to you for you to be big enough to bring all these big wigs here. Please put your hands together for yourself, please. A round of applause. It's very important that we come around to support our own people, and it's been my pleasure to be here. If it now is a roll swap today, because normally I interview you every Monday, so now I'm on the receiving end, no problem. Now you set it up, so I'm just going to go very practical, things that I do every day. All of us, one way or the other, are public speakers. Our level of confidence might be different due to possibly our character traits. You might be sanguine, choleric, melancholic, phlegmatic. It will always determine how you speak and how you're able to relate to your audiences. It's all, that actually is the bedrock of any form of public speaking. And so you can't compare Ify to me, because I work with Ify, she's the pure choleric. 100%, she has nothing that it is. I'm between being a choleric and a sanguine. I'm melancholic because I have to deliver what I have to do. And so when I want to talk to people, most of the times I do this Monday to Friday. Whether I'm doing presentations, I know that I have diverse people, listening, and I know that they could be very judgmental, especially those who are not professionals. I won't understand the things that are going on behind the microphone, just when there is no camera there. So what do I do? First and foremost, what I was able to do is to be able to discover myself. It took a long time, but I was lucky enough to have parents that made me discover myself very early in life. As a pastor's daughter, of course, I had to recite all kinds of catechism and what have you, and practical presentations, literally debating. Those were the things that helped us all to gain confidence. And from primary school perhaps to secondary school, many of us still found it very difficult. Then we got to the higher institution. I want to imagine that in this room today, some people would have wanted to vie for a position when they were in the higher institution, but for the fear of public speaking, because they didn't know what to say or how to say it. So, what I did, I grew up very confident because my parents helped me to be very confident, and so we grew up into literary and debating, from debating to all kinds of things. So, now I'm grown up. How do I psych myself to work every day? I know that everything's different. The stories are different. And the research is very important. The first thing you do is discover who you are, accept who you are, note and accept your weaknesses because they always be there. However, you have to work on them. As a big-time choleric, you're bound to, when you're even speaking, in your speech, come out very proud. So what do? You tone it down. You understand also, not before you, I'm not going to itemize, no numbers, please. Let's just speak around because I know I'm talking to great intellectuals here. You know your audience. You know who you want to talk about, talk to. If, for instance, there are students, know their demographics, you know who you're talking to, you can imagine, you've done your research. So I know that every day, I know governors are listening, I know ministers are listening, I know Mama Shabi Elega is listening, I know that, I'm able to use my language, choice of language, so I know what to say. You don't go on television or radio saying F words, S words, and not allowed. So I know the basics because I'm lucky enough to have started this about 27 years ago. And so when I started as a teenager, it's been very, I learned from the scratch to where I am today. So I think if you have said it all, but all of this, know your character traits. So many people are still struggling with it today. And maybe that is why it's very difficult for you to go out there to speak. But you can, because I know that you can in here.
All right, let's come to Uncle Jai, that's what I call you. Now you brand people, you train people, on those who are even trying to run for office. What do you say to them when they want to put their brands across? How to reach out? How do you groom them into speaking right when they're in public?
All right. First and foremost, I think I'm going to take my departure from where you actually stopped during your presentation. It's about the rule of preparation. It's about the rule of preparation. Show me a governor who hasn't prepared and is standing before the people or is sitting before camera granting an interview. Show me a minister who is ill-prepared. Show me a bank MD who is ill-prepared. And I probably will tell you, merely by looking at the person. And that rule of preparation begins from even you yourself understanding the audience demographics. Who are the people I will be speaking to tomorrow? What is of interest to them? What is the relevance of even this topic, to them right now? And how do I connect with them? And I think that that's where everything rises and falls. Once you get that rule of preparation, Bodex had told me earlier I was going to be speaking on something else, and it's a topic. It's my subject matter area, public relations. I've done it for 26 years, and I still sat down this morning. I was looking at the definition of public relations. I haven't done it for 26 years. I was still looking at the definition of public relations, and then I was asking myself, how do I break it down to the audience when I come here today? So, it's the first step, the rule of preparation. Who am I speaking to? What is of interest to them? How does this particular subject improve their life? Because, when you are engaging customers, one of the things you want to ask yourself is that there is a nagging question in the head of every customer. Even for those of you who are seated here today, there is that nagging question, what's in it for me? Why should I waste my time here today? What am I going to, how does this event benefit me? And that's the critical question you ask when you treat your audience as customers and you ask yourself, what is it that these people will take away from here today? How will everything we will say here today, if we spend 3 hours here, how will it benefit that young man, that young woman, that young professional who is sitting in the audience today, who wants to know beyond the music, what am I going away with? And I'm happy to tell you, one of the things you need to go away from here with is the rule of preparation. No matter your subject matter area. I was telling Mr. Otosho earlier today, the Commissioner for Information and Strategy. I said, a TV station, a very prominent TV station in Nigeria once invited me to come and speak on insecurity in Nigeria. I declined. I said, I am not a security expert. And that's why the media should please stop dashing people this title of public affairs analyst.
Let me peg you there. We need to take 1 or 2 questions. I hear we're present.
So Gani, I think we're already on that path of, trying to get a solution by pleading with the media. Because when you dash people the title of public affairs analysis and you bring them on camera to come and address the nation on virtually everything and anything, then you are doing your viewers, you are doing the nation a great disservice. Because these are people who have no idea of even the idea of what they should be speaking about. To borrow your word. When there was a gentleman, when the crisis in the downstream sector of the economy occurred a few years ago, he was on different TV, stations discussing the crisis. When Boko Haram, crisis became heightened again, this same man became a security analyst discussing issues. And I said to myself, and I've also seen him discussing sports. And I said, this must be a genius. And the truth is that for the discerning mind, even for me, who knew very little about, the economics of the downstream sector, I knew he was talking rubbish. I knew he was talking rubbish. I knew he was misinforming the people. And that's where the issue of expertise is absolutely important. You will never see CNN if that issue has to do with a particular branch of science. For example, say oncologists, they will go and bring an oncologist to come and speak on that particular issue. They will never bring a pediatrician to come and speak on it and say, oh, after all, he's a medical doctor. So this is also where we must begin to draw the line, and I think the media has a role to play in this. I mean, we're a country of over 200 million people. Come on, there are people with expertise in different sectors of life and the economy, and we can always bring forward to come and speak to us on various issues. Not the same set of people being recycled and being dashed the title of public affairs analyst every now and then. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So let's have
All right, Mr. Lotto Brass, I hope I got your name. She said I should not say that, but I have to, because I want to be sure that's your name. Okay. So it happens to everyone. So you're prepared. You're delivering a speech, or you have to speak. Let's say the military. And you enter, you see soldiers, you see guns around, you see some things that could be intimidating. And then you open your tab or whatever, and you're like, oh, how am I going about this one? There's tension around here. So there are bound to be butterflies running around your stomach. It happens to even our nurse here. It happens to almost every African director. So what do you do? Most of the time, what do I do? I just pause. I just chill. I take a break. I chill. Because you'll be lost just like that. But when you are prepared, and that's why I tell people, I don't ask my researchers to research for me when I'm doing anything. They do their research, they pass to me. I do mine. And so when you see me on television, you know that I've done my research. So when the butterflies are there, and in fact, you can't even connect, you go back to your script. And so that's why scripting is very good. And you have to always simplify your scripts, so that it don't become so difficult that when you want to, when you're lost somewhere, you have to really go back, okay, 3 lines. There's a way it puts you back on track when you have your script. So please, when you're a public speaker, make it as simple as possible. Everything I'm speaking today is not more than like 12 lines. Although I have the full script here, but I know that I'm not here to deliver to fellow Nigerians. So because I know I'm not doing fellow Nigerians, I knew that I had to simplify. So always simplify it and go back there. And one thing, if you want, one thing that I always run to when I get to a place, because it happens and it will happen, okay? One thing you always do, look at somebody that you like in audience, that I like somebody here today. And yes, say it here, thank you. So if I'm lost, I know that Uncle Sheye has my back, and he just be like, okay, and I go on, thank you.
Sorry.
Right.
She's shared a trick, and the truth is that it works. Keep your eyes on someone in the audience who is probably listening to you with rapt attention and who is probably nodding. It will encourage you. The fear will disappear because you will almost immediately start getting start getting your groove together, because there is somebody who is giving you an encouraging nod, from the audience. The second point, and I close on this, is the again part of the rule of preparation. A dry run. When I see a minister who has just picked up his speech at the venue of an event, I will know, I could tell. When I see a governor who has just picked up his speech at the venue of an event, because I'm a speechwriter myself, so I know when they begin to struggle through some of the words and they are unable to connect, with the audience while reading, you will know when someone has gone through a particular script over and over again. When he's speaking, he's able to move his eyes away from the script and look at the audience, take a pause and then continue So the rule again is the rule of the dry run. Do a dry run if you are, especially if you are going to be scripted, do a dry run. Go through the script, stand before the mirror if possible. Thank you.
All right then, thank you very much. I dare say that this is not a conversation that you can have in just 1 hour. So it is something, and I'm saying to Bodets, you can think about another arena where we will get to talk about this, because people need this and they need to connect with what it is that these two persons have talked about today. Well, thank you for listening, and we hope that we'll imbibe some of the things that we'll take away from here today. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together once more for them. Please celebrate them with the exact round of applause. Thank you very much.
Established by Ifeanyi. Thank you. Well, that's just what we were just talking about. Just find the best way to deal with it. I'm somebody that stays behind the microphone, behind those who are speaking, like Ifeanyi. So, Bodets have brought me out today. And my topic is, it looks very simple, but it's also very difficult. Quality content in social media sphere. There are 3 key words here, which is quality, content, and social media sphere. And to take the last one, if you look at your the program, the back of your program, which we all have, behind it, that's social media. Okay, so the social media sphere, it's not, you can see it's almost like the whole world, printed on there. So you can now see where you are representing and what we are talking about. And content is anything that adds value to a reader's life. Absolutely. If it doesn't add value, definitely you may not see people read it. And when they don't read it, it means they are not visiting your portal or platform. What is quality? Quality is the standard of something as measured against other things. The degree of excellence. What is content? Content is the information and experiences that are directed towards an end user or an audience. Then it gets us to this point where we say content is key. Content is king. Now you need content to drive your outfit, both traditional media and social media. Some of us, we've been reading many people here, because consistently over the years, because of the content of what they write. And at any point where their content does not affect me positively, I'll definitely skip it. So without content, nothing works. Then why is content key? Content is key because I have a couple of points, about 5 of them, why content is key. Quality content grows relationship with your audience or your customers, whichever way. Now, number 2, quality content also builds your brand reputation and trust, because over time, if you have quality content, people will definitely visit your brand. For our traditional media, newspapers, radio, and TV, if you don't have any good content to offer, definitely people will tune up. People won't read. And also, quality content informs, educates, and entertains. This could almost be the first one. However, what kind of information are you putting through? What kind of education are we going to get through your write-ups, as well as the things that could be entertaining in them? Nothing stops you from presenting this content in an entertaining style. Show why a brand is better than, show why your own brand is better than your competition. Okay? Content also improves brand recognition. Yes, because when you have quality content, it can also always help establish your brand as much as possible. Another point is that content also makes you reach influencers. Well, you can see, when you see the influencers that are all here, I'm very sure that Bodets' content in her blog must have also been what must have been attracting some of us. Okay? Then we now see, now what are those things we have to avoid? Those content we must avoid in social media. what are they? Then number one is we have to be careful about poorly edited and proofread content. Maybe that's also my area because I've been editing for quite a while now. And such mistakes are things that we don't take. And if you have a preponderance of such mistakes in your social media platform, then it means that people may run away from you. Then it is also very important that we don't share unverified information. About 9-10 hours ago, I was somewhere far away from Lagos, and about 4 a.m. I saw the news that broke this morning, for instance. And the news that broke was that yes, and what did I do at that point in time? I said, fine, even if we have to verify that this particular content that is unfolding today is true. Yes, what we are seeing in the social media that we must verify. And incidentally, I'm just lucky I have a reporter who stays close by that point, and she went there and confirmed that it is true. So we should not share content that are not verified. And don't just press share because you think it's coming from a source where you could always trust. Then also another thing which we have to avoid in social media is spreading hate. As we can all see, our country today is almost polarized because of people sharing information that they don't know anything about. Even most of us don't know our country. We don't know how this country is. We don't know the length and breadth of this country. So it's always important for you to be careful about the kind of content you share, because you could be spreading a false information. And we've been here too in this country where pictures, photographs of 10 years ago, 5 years ago suddenly appear and somebody is justifying it that it is true. So we should always be careful about sharing or spreading hate. It is not a good content. Then we also have to avoid misleading posts. You don't say that possibly, for instance, Charles Collins, the keynote speaker, you put it on your post. The next thing is the content is something else. It is very, very misleading. You don't share things like this. Try to avoid it. Then also, it is also important, like I noted here about avoiding political and religious posts. You know, but if such posts, you have a particular forum or particular platform where you share this post, fine, good and well. If the people you share it to also believe in your politics or in your religion, then don't share it at a point where you're pushing people to always want to especially there are some people that will post some prayers to say, if you don't send this prayer to 100 people, blah blah blah, you're going to Ocean, you may be truncated and so on and so forth. You know, such things are absolutely, it's not right, it's not a good content. So my dear brothers and sisters, I'll leave you to...
Can we clap with the energy? Okay, thank you Mr. Charles for the quality presentation earlier. And Mr. Joseph, I'm a fan. Thank you. Tarek, you are welcome. Don't be scared by this living. They will be like fathers and guide you on the way to go. Okay, I want us to define what is quality content. You know, if you are a Christian, you are most likely going to define the quality content from a Christian point of view. If you are a moralist, you will define the quality content from the point of view of morals. And if you are a Muslim, most likely you define it that way. There are people who support Buhari in banning Twitter. They are defining quality content in pro-Buhari posts. And there are people who are against Buhari who define it the other way. And we have people who provide sexual content, who provide adult-only content, people who provide professional content. So I would like these panelists to tell me, from what I'm trying to say is quality content is largely subjective. So what is quality content? I want to start from Mr. Chad because he did the presentation earlier. So I'd like to start from Mr. Dotto. What is quality content?
Right, thank you. I was actually going to start from there when you decided. Because a lot of times, especially as newsmen, we tend to define quality from our perspective. But like I've said in the last 10 years, since the social media had gained some level of audacity, so to say, it's easier for us now to see what quality is from the back end. And what do I mean for those who are not publishers? Go and see your number of clicks. You see what you have made in terms of revenue if you have Google AdSense, and then you can begin to determine for your own publication what is quality. Where a lot of newspapers in the traditional world gotten it wrong is that they try to determine for their readers what quality is, and they have lost it. So for every publication, quality will be determined by those who are reading them. I'm not saying that we should preach the rules as set by Mr. Khan, because no matter the content you are providing, you must edit well. It must be the truth. It must meet all the fundamentals, the basics of journalism for you to publish. But at the end of the day, for those who are in it for profit, the bottom line is what is coming into the purse. So you now ask us, between a story that is saying so and so was stolen, which only 2 people will read, and a story promoting the content, music content, for instance, by Davido, which you have 24,000, 30,000, 50 people reading, what is quality for you? I'll stop this.
Okay, sir. I want to quickly point out something before Arike will answer for me what is quality content. That I would like for us to look at content, because I know a lot of media people here, especially media people. Some of them have worked with my days in journalism, and some of them are reason to become notable people in the political government space. But I would like for us to look at content beyond the context of journalism and media. We have Kiki here. Kiki is an influencer who provides all sorts of funny videos, getting engagement and making money, and basically that is who she is. And we have people who provide every day, just wake up every God blessed day to provide skits. And there are people who provide news and just find a way to work it from other people's point of view. So when we talk content here, I can see Moji here. Moji runs a blog and Moji provides news, but that is also content. But content varies. Content, in this context of our discussion, I would like for us to look at it beyond the context of journalism.
And that exactly is the point. For instance, if you ask me now, who are those whose kids, for instance, I follow? I don't just go anywhere. There are so many of them. I will tell you Mr. Macaroni, for instance. So whatever is providing, it means there is a team that I like. If it deviates from that team, am I going to follow him again? You know, it's a big question. Some of my colleagues, out of nowhere, they call me Mr. Watermelon. Because Mr. Macaroni is also displaying watermelon. I like it. I know he understands it, and those who are listening who also have an idea, you understand it too. You know, when the women come up and they shake and they shake, I like it. I'm going to watch it. That's the kind of content I'm talking about. If Mr. Macaroni is not making money from doing something else, I mean, another kind of skill, then he doesn't need to go in that direction. He should stick with what he's doing. That's exactly the point. So not only in terms of news, because he also can see from YouTube how many people have watched this. And based on what he provides and the number of people who will see it, he makes his money. There are some people who have been struggling to grow their audience on YouTube to 1,000, which is from where you can commercialize it. Some have not succeeded. We know those who have succeeded, and whatever they are doing is good for them to keep it up. So it's not really about news only. I'm only saying at the back end, you know what you are doing if you are doing it for them. So quality is dependent on your audience. If you are not getting it right and you are not getting the audience, it's not quality what you are doing.
Thank you very much. I really care what is quality content.
I don't really know what quality content is, but I asked my dad.
Is Ari's dad here? You can come. Your daughter wants to ask you. A round of applause for the dad. You can see. So your daughter brought you here. So when she brings something, don't beat her. So what is quality content?
Okay, basically I'll talk in the context of our brand as a range of photography, and as a child we try to ensure whatever we put on our page is something that is modest enough. She's a photographer at the age of 5.
She's taking my picture before.
Yeah. So we try to make sure it's something that relates with her personality as well. And if you go to our page, you're not going to see anything vulgar. Of course, she's a photographer, and we put basically the pictures she takes, and we do videos of her doing it. Sometimes if time permits. And in the context of what you're not seeing generally, quality content should be something that promotes business in this day and time. I'm a photographer as well. Unfortunately, in our own time, there's no social media. Like I've been taking pictures when I was in secondary school. Nobody knows me because there's no social media. Of course, she started at 5, and in no time, she's writing more. And that's because of the social media. I think that.
Don't go straight. You might need your services. Sir, what is quality content?
I quite agree that maybe that was why before I started, we looked at the back of the program, social media sphere. Now there are content that can come in the format of music. There are content that can come in the format of movie. There are contents that can come in the format of comedy. But the point now is, how are you using it? How effective are you using them? There are content that come in format of photographs, just pictures. Now, what kind of pictures are you taking? Yes, it is also subjective because it depends on where you are going to, the person you want to go to his or her own. Okay, so these are the things too. I absolutely agree. And if you can also agree with me, like a typical media is of the traditional radio and TV media. Many radio stations are going under because they don't have content. You will agree with me. Some TV stations are going under because they don't have content. So it is also, these are the things. And why are they going under? Because when you go to the ratings, will always show that people are not watching them because, or listening to them because the content is possibly not good enough for them or it's not attractive. Okay, so I quite agree that it is content vary, but it is now where we go to look at this content. Then when you also look at like all those the content, there are some content, those extra.
If it's an expert, I differ to her. But that's not the matter at hand. The matter at hand, in my own, is much more serious than that. I've been asked to talk about digital media, freedom of internet use, and the right of citizens. And I've seen a lot of things here today. And not just here. We have had a weekend of fireworks. First, the federal government said it suspended Twitter temporarily. I've had about 5 interviews since I got here. the longest time I've had to sit at this kind of ceremony. I've sat down here now for about 5 hours. And most of the people interviewing me, they were asking me, what I have to say about the ban on Twitter. And I said I read my news, and I watched television, and I listened to the radio this morning. I never heard anything about a ban. The federal government said it suspended Twitter. And temporary, not a ban. You can see the danger that some of our speakers here have spoken of today. Ordinary simple phrase has caused so much anger here today. People are just talking about bam, bam, bam. And nobody ever banned anyone. But that does not mean that I will stay at a place where freedom of speech will be stifled. Whatever I've become today is because I subscribe to freedom of speech. I preached it. I worked under it. It's been my mantra. I've been a journalist for over 30 years. And everything I have done has been in the private sector. This is my first time in government. But as I have said, as an experienced journalist, I preach fairness. As you are talking about Nigeria suspending Twitter, I saw on television too that Facebook said it was ranking off Mr. Trump for over 2 years. And I said, the media is a leveler. If Nigeria can say, well, Twitter should just stay aside, or step aside for a while, temporary suspension, and Facebook is saying, Mr. Trump, as they say around here, the old Mr. Trump is suspended for over 2 years, or for about 2 years. I think it's a leveler. And that sent me thinking about what is going on. Technology has put in our hands a very powerful tool that we can use for empowerment, that we can use for information, that we can use to better the lot of our people. I see it as a two-edged sword. If you use it very well, it will cut grass for you. But if you don't use it very well, it will cut the grass and at the same time cut you. Must we now not accept that it is not all about privilege? It is also about responsibility. Don't forget the part that I said, stifling free speech is not good. We have seen that some countries have done it and nothing has happened. In Iran, in North Korea, in Syria, it's been done. But the question to us is this the kind of company that we in Nigeria want to keep? I dare say no. But in Nigeria, when you look at our potentialities, especially our young people, over 60% of our 200 million population. And when people talk about Nigeria and they look at this population, they feel that Nigeria is the home for the black man. Why do they think so? Because of all black men in the world, 10 of anywhere you find black men, out of the 10, 6 are believed to be Nigerians. And the popular thinking is that should Nigeria fail, God forbid, that the black man will never make it. And that should Nigeria succeed, the black man will occupy his private place in the world. So in talking about technology, social media, and all of that, and the freedom that they confer of us, it's very nice to have this freedom. It's very nice to use it because it can make us, it can also mar us. So we must find the middle level. We must think about what to do so that we can use social media, we can use technology to better our lot and not to destroy ourselves. People are saying that if Peter says if President Buhari says Twitter has offended the sensibility of Nigerians and that it should be suspended temporarily. And people are asking, how about Nnamdi Kanu, who has been preaching hate when Nigeria requires love, who has been preaching war when we require peace, who has been talking about very dirty things in very dirty language when we require cleanliness, when we require soberness. Our economy is not good. We are facing security challenges. All of us should come together and fight all the bad people in our land and send them out instead of doing things that can compound our situation. It is unfortunate that a place like Lagos, every day we receive thousands of visitors per hour. People come in here without any plan, without knowing anybody. They believe it's a land of opportunities. A land where they can fulfill their dreams. And they just keep on coming. And then when they are sending little trouble, these people, they come and destroy everything. They come and behave as if we have gone into the dark ages. Our young people, we are very proud of them. They are the ones, only about 2 days ago, I joined Mr. Governor, Mr. Baide Sanwo-Olu, to visit some of the tech-ops in Lagos. And if you see what our young people are doing with technology, you'll be amazed. All of the problems that we thought were real problems before, these young people are solving with technology. So in our own case in Lagos, what we are doing, in as much as I feel that freedom must go with responsibility, I'm also happy to be part of a government that is encouraging everything that will make internet very easy for all of us. Now we are embarking on what we call the Smart City project. Under the Smart City project, we are laying cables around the state. You must have seen some of the cables all over, 6,000 kilometers. The first place, 3,000 kilometers. And under the first phase, we have done 1,800 kilometers. And now, 100 schools have been connected to the internet through these cables. You are going to have faster internet. You are going to be able to have smart cameras all over the state. So that the kind of incident that I spoke about, people just coming onto the street and shooting and scaring everybody away, will no longer happen, and such people will not be traced. They will be traced. So I would not want to waste your time by talking. It's always very difficult to be the last speaker because everybody must have said what ought to have been said. Now, passion has come into it. I can feel a little tension, but I would want everybody to see this as a discussion of brothers and sisters. All of us are in it together. Nigeria is ours. If they say Twitter is suspended, well, it's unfortunate. But I believe that this is a question that is going to be resolved in no time. I will want all of us to continue to contribute in whatever way we can. I'm very happy to see comedians here, young people are in the tech sector, people we call social media influencers. I feel that I am so privileged to be among them. Some of them have interacted with, and I feel happy being here this evening. I would want to just appeal to us that this is the kind of thing that we should be doing. Nice conversation, so that in place of fighting ourselves, we can fight ourselves intellectually. I do not mind that. But for us to, I know that our young people are not the ones doing it, to bring out cudgels, knives, or to be talking in an abusive way, like my sister Ara said, it's not part of our culture. Even though some people believe you have to cut away culture from whatever we are talking about. It's all in the spirit of anger.
May God hear us of the spirit of anger that has seized Nigeria now. Thank you for listening.